Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, right at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And yes, it is an AMA, and you are saying to yourself, Larry, you're doing an AMA on your birthday. Yes, I am literally doing one on my birthday, and it's because I don't have a life. That would be the reason I don't have a life. So I'm here with you on my birthday doing an AMA. So yes, I wanted to bring up a couple things, if I could. And one of those things is, what can we expect coming up here in the next year? 8 years ago, for those of you who don't know, 8 years ago today, I announced my running for governor of New York. And that's on my birthday, 8 years ago, my first run for the 2018 election. And I announced it early in 2017 so that I could make that massive year-and-a-half run and make the impact that I made that year. Sadly, in 2022, I didn't do the same thing. I waited because I was trying to get other people to join. I was trying to make coalition, trying to work things out. That did not go at all as planned, but I was trying to make those things happen in 2022. So I am considering, as you know, I haven't decided, nothing's announced, but I have considered maybe making a run again next year. To do that, I'll probably have to announce this year if I do so. So again, if I'm going to make this run, I will learn from my errors, what many people don't do. I will learn from my mistakes if I do so, and then maybe I'll make this happen. Today, you might ask, how old am I? And you might go, well, Larry, you look like you're like 21. True, I do look like I'm 21, but I'm not. I am 57 today. So yes, I am 57 years young. And you might say, Larry, why do you look like you're 19 years old? Because keto is magic. I've been telling you this forever, guys. Keto is magic. I now get younger. That's how that works, right? When you're on keto, what happens is your age reverses. That's what happens. I go backwards. So yeah. So I now look younger than I did before. See how that works? It is magic. Yes. But I think I may announce, if I do, I may announce coming up here, if I'm going to, probably sometime this year, or I may not, right? Depends on what I think is going to happen, how things are going to work, all those different things. So we'll work on those pieces as we move forward. But regardless, coming up here, there's going to be many changes. And I'm going to cover 3 if I could. Maybe 4, depending. Maybe I'll add it because political is more than one. All right. Socially, culturally, politically domestic, and politically foreign, or international, I should say. International maybe is better. Culturally, there is a backlash culturally in America in every way, shape, and form, because we recognize that our culture, for most Americans, is failing. People are unhappy, and I keep saying it. I've been talking about happiness for years. Unhappy people want socialism. People who are desperate do desperate things. This is what people do. Well, America's special. Americans are humans, like everybody else. The more unhappy we are, the more we're going to want socialism. The more desperate we get, the more we're going to do desperate things again and again and again. So that's number one. You are going to see people with more radical ideas be heard. They're going to be heard. You're going to see, whether it's Trump and his tariffs, or Mamdani and his free buses, or whatever, doesn't matter. If it seems radical, people are going to hear it, because again, when people have no answer versus a bad answer, they take a bad answer. Our job culturally here is going to try to actually make cultural answers, and that's things like saying what we believe is right and wrong without, and I say again, without using force. There we go. Without using force. Getting people to see what we want without using force. That will be the challenge. Now, can we do it? I don't know. It's challenging, but I think that's our opportunity will be now. Socially, we are not only unhappy culturally, but socially, we are lonely. You can be unhappy with people or not, but we are lonely. You are seeing less and less people socially get together. You're seeing less and less pair bonding. I bring it up all the time, right? But why does pair bonding matter? Because this affects us socially. Why? Because now people are traveling alone. People are alone in households. Now, what does that mean? Economically, this happens also. There's going to be a lot of people losing their jobs because of AI. You see it, and because of other things too. There's lots of reasons people are losing their jobs. The job is going away. When we start cutting government jobs go away. All these jobs start going away. Well, Larry, people always lose jobs. Yes, that's true. But prior to 2008, especially, but way before that, people were actually living in clans. What I mean by that, your sister or your brother was in the same town as you, right? Maybe your grandpa was, or maybe your uncle was, or maybe you were married, or maybe you at least had a living girlfriend or boyfriend, or your baby daddy, your baby mom was nearby, something, right? Not anymore. Grandpa lives in, Phoenix. Mom lives in Minneapolis. Dad lives in Chicago. You live in New York City, and you're a single mom, and baby daddy writes you a check, but he lives in Boston. What happens when you lose your job? You're screwed. And you're seeing it all over TikTok now, and you're going to keep seeing it. You're screwed because you don't have that support structure. That's the social aspect. Our culture has created this social aspect of people not living together. Now, I'm not saying you have to get married. I get people don't get married. Whatever, you do you. But shouldn't you at least be in the same town as your family? We're not. Why? Opportunities. Since 2008, there has not been an actual recovery except in cities in America. That's it. So people have flocked to cities. Now, the lockdowns made things worse. People moved away from cities. Now they're coming back again, and it's a disaster. This is not a good place for us to be. Socially, we are alone. Economically, that's devastating. It's devastating. And sadly, because of our culture, we don't want to pair bond. We have stopped, and this is the thing you'll hear constantly. People keep saying things like, well, I don't want to give up who I am. I don't want to give up who I am. I don't want to be dependent upon somebody. Oh, I guess you're not going to pair bond then, because that's kind of what pair bonding is. And we're seeing that happen again. And that's going to hurt us economically. Economically, I met a person in the street today who was telling me how they're fighting back against AI. And I get it. I'm not mad at the person for it. I get it. People don't like AI. I understand it. I think it's fruitless. I think it has no chance. Why? AI is a weapon system. That's what it is. It's not going anywhere. You could be mad at AI if you want to. You could be upset. You can complain. You can do all those things you want. Does not matter. AI is going nowhere. AI is going nowhere. And if you don't get on board, you're going to be in trouble in one way, shape, or another. You don't have to use it necessarily, but you have to understand it. It's going to change everything. AI girlfriends and boyfriends, already happening. AI family is next. That's what's going to happen culturally and socially. AI is going to pick up everything. Replace your job, replace your girlfriend, replace your boyfriend. And when the robots come, when the sex bots come, because that's coming too. If not already here, that's that. And then what are you going to expect? I guess politically, as I said, people want different things. How about domestically? There is going to be a scream. You're going to see it for UBI. UBI is going to be the biggest issue in 2028. Guaranteed. Big issue. How do we pay people? And right now, we can't. At this moment, we cannot. It's not a thing. People are like, you use enough money. No, we can't right now. Now, can we make a world where we can pay people? Maybe. I think it's possible. Could be done. But no one's talking about it. It's like, keep going into debt. At one point, the debt collapses. And when you add AI, now there is another option. Here is the horrible option that you might see people, I'm sure we talked about already, but you might see them actually happen. The horrible option is we win the AI race and we use our AI to basically rob the rest of the world of cash to pay us. That's not unheard of. Empires do run that way. Could we do that? Possible. I could see that happening in the next couple of years so that we can all pay ourselves. I could see it happening. I could see it happening. But Larry, what about the population crash? They're doing it on their own. The people who want the world to have less people, hey, we're happening. They don't have to tell us. We're not doing it. We're not having kids. We're not pair bonding. So it's already happening. They have to do a thing. The culture is taking care of that for us. Next, we have a couple of worries. For those of you who support Israel, Israel is looking like a rogue state right now. And if some of you get mad when I say it, that's what it's looking like right now. How is that going to wrap itself up? Israel needs a serious, for those of you who support Israel, Israel needs a serious PR reboot, or it is going to be in trouble. A serious PR reboot, or it's going to be in trouble. Unless it decides to become a Middle Eastern empire. If it decides to do that, it won't matter. Because if you're an empire, who cares? If Israel decides to now, if Israel decides to do that, Israel's a small country. To do that, it's a challenge. Can they do it? Yeah. But the question is, do Israelis actually want to be an empire? Maybe they do. I don't know Israelis very well. I mean, I have a lot of Jewish friends, but not Israelis. I know American Jews. I don't know many Israelis. I know some, but not many. So I don't know. Do they want to be an empire? I mean, maybe. If they do, okay. There's a price to pay. Ask the Brits. Ask us. There's a price to pay for that. Pay the price if you want to. Otherwise, they have to change. I think guaranteed the next year or two, you were going to see, about the next year, you're going to see the war in Ukraine and Russia end. In about a year or so, you'll see it end. And Russia's going to win the war. They were always going to win the war. They were always going to win the war. The question was time. Was it going to take 3 weeks, 3 years, 3 decades? They were always going to win a war. And the reason why they're going to win a war is they're not going to stop. They are prepared to pay any price to win this war. The leadership of Russia sees it as an existential threat that will end the nation. They will do whatever it takes to win the war. That's why they will, because Europeans won't and Americans won't. So again, 3 years, 30 years, 3 days, 3 weeks. That's how that works. All right, I give a bunch of stuff. So let me, if I can, let me give myself, this is my birthday wish. My birthday wish for this year. In the next year, until my next birthday, what I would like to see happen in my perfect world is I would actually like to see third parties just paid attention to. I know it's not a big wish, but I'd like it. Third parties are in trouble. People aren't paying attention. I would like them to pay attention. Musk is talking trash. I hope he does something. I hope he does something. I hope people step up. I hope people don't just fall back to the same old things. I hope we don't keep going back and forth with the left-right paradigm. That's my hope going into 2026. That's my birthday wish. All right, let me grab some comments and such. I did a bunch. Let me grab some comments. First off, Phil, thank you for gifting a Sharpe membership, guys. If you want to become a member, please do so. I appreciate it. Every membership does count. Let's make that happen to the best of our ability. I appreciate that. Liberty Lady, happy birthday. Larry from your team and all the Sharpies. Oh, thank you. Thank you for $2. I appreciate that. Missy, also, thank you so much. Happy birthday, Larry. We all love you so much. That's so sweet. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate all the warm, fuzzy feelings. I love that. Duke of Hex, thank you for the $5. Happy birthday, Larry. We're both cancers and cancers, yes, and both born 12th of July. Oh, you're 12th of July too. There we go. Look at that. We share a birthday, by the way, with Julius Caesar. True. Julius Caesar was born this day, and July was named after Julius Caesar, July, and August was named after Augustus. Yes, July and Augustus. That's what the months were named for. So yes, we were born the day of emperors. Thank you. Me in 73. So I got you by a couple years. We are Gen Xers though, and they do roll. Gen Xers are the best. Why? Because I'm a Gen Xer. True. Absolutely correct. Yes. A lot of people didn't know though that we share a birthday with somebody else too, which I used to talk about all the time. Now I don't. The guy who had a show named Cosby. Yeah, him too. Back in the 80s and 90s, I used to talk about it all the time. Now, not so much. Not so much more. Joel says, happy birthday. Thank you, my friend. 357. Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, got it. Thank you. Thank you. Took me a couple seconds. Thank you. Okay. Sometimes I don't get it, Joel. Thank you. Ryan says, you want to know why Trump's foreign policy and geopolitics sucks from in his second term? He has no General James Mattis. He told Trump no sometimes. Interesting. Here is where I think Trump is. I'm giving my opinion on Trump next year. This, and I told you this 3 months ago, a couple months ago. I said this right now is Trump's toughest time. And there's no doubt. He is in a very tough spot right now. The toughest he's ever been. In these next 6 months, give or take, a year in that area, he is either going to be one of the most popular, most famous presidents of this century, or his legacy is destroyed. And I got to give it to him, he is rolling the dice on a lot of stuff. And if it all comes up 7, they're going to be like, oh my God, this is a great president. What we think, and he's the man. That's going to happen. If it doesn't, he is, not, it's going to go poorly for him if that doesn't happen. So yes, absolutely. I think you're right. You tell him no. I don't think he wants to be told no, Ryan. I think you're right. He doesn't want those guys around. He is actually, this is my feeling. I have no inside information on this. This is my feeling. I think he knows he's rolling the dice and he's totally okay with it. He's like, I'm going out great or I'm going out infamous. But I think he really, my gut says he cares about his legacy more than anything. And he's prepared to roll the dice. He's prepared to gamble and do whatever it takes to make his legacy great. That's what I think. That's what I feel from him. Again, no inside information. That is what I think. So, yes. Looking over at CiVL, Matthew says, happy birthday, Larry. In the next year, we expect another birthday celebration for you. There we go. That's an easy ask. I'll say yes to that. That's an easy ask. By the way, he's over on CiVL. You guys can go watch CiVL if you want to also. Absolutely. So also looking over at Rumble, a bunch of people on Rumble today. Okay. The Damonizer says, do you see the Israelis making a deal with Erdogan to divide up Syria and Lebanon? Makes total sense. I've been discussing this forever. You're correct. Israel's goal has always been buffer zones outside of Israel proper. It's called Großen Israel, which is Greater Israel, right? That's the goal they've had forever. The reason why, so you might go, oh my God, that's terrible. And maybe it is. I mean, what they're doing is they're creating a mini empire. Yes, it's true. But if from an Israeli point of view, you want to create a larger nation to create a buffer zone from attacks. That is how the Israelis see security. I don't. I see security via good borders and good treaties. That's how I see security, but I'm not Israeli. Israeli, particularly this government now, maybe it's not all Israelis. I'm sorry, I should be clearer. The current Israeli government, that's a better answer. The current Israeli government sees security as buffer zones throughout the region. So you're right. They want a chunk of Lebanon, a chunk of Syria, right? But they feel pretty comfortable with their borders of Jordan and Egypt. They're pretty comfortable with those. I don't think they want to push forward on that anymore. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Americua says, happy birthday, Larry. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. I really do. So yeah, I'm with you 100%. I agree. So Phil asked a question. He says, what wisdom did you learn in the past year? In the past year, I learned so much stuff all the time. The past year. I think in the past year, I think the wisdom I learned in the past year that I think I was kind of learning, I'll say I wrapped it up. It kind of came to fruition. It is that in many cases, when you see a battle with someone who doesn't want to talk, who can't mix and match with you back and forth, who doesn't want to have a conversation, there are basically 2 options. Don't fight, surrender, or show no mercy. And I think even in both cases, never stop talking, but still be either brutal in your attacks or don't fight at all. Just surrender, walk away, don't fight at all. Now, if the person doesn't want to talk, but that's assuming that they are somehow infringing upon you and they don't want to talk. I think a light fight in any way, physical, not physical, doesn't make any sense. Communicate, talk, try to negotiate, walk away, or show no mercy. I think that's what I learned, particularly in politics. And the last piece I'll get is the average person has no idea how how challenging the establishment actually is to get around it all. And they don't realize how change is made so insanely hard that the vast majority of people will just surrender. The goal of the system is to make sure change is virtually impossible. That's the goal. The goal of the system is not for us to feel good, not for us to be served, not for us to be able to have power or control. The goal of the system is to maintain status quo. That's the goal. So when there is no change, when nothing can get done, where we have static and decay, that's the system working. That's the system working. When there is change, that's the system failing. Which is why when guys like Mamdani, and it's like, oh my God, he might actually make change. That's the system failing, right? RFK Jr., he might make change. That's the system failing. Trump winning in 2016. That's the system failing. Bernie being crushed in 2016. System working perfectly. Like perfectly. That's great. Perfectly. So I think if anything, I've learned that. I mean, I kind of knew it a bit, but I think that maybe, yeah, kind of maybe that's where I am now. If it makes any sense. So, all right. Anyway, let me speaking of that, let me pop on if I could. Before I go to there's a lot of people who want to say things, and I want to get to them. But before I go there, I do want to talk about something specific if I could. And that is, of course, what I mean by that is there are certain things in civil that I really like. And obviously, my show's the best, of course, but not just that. I want to go on to some of their special documentaries. This piece here, to me, I think is very important. Documentaries I have here, this is the one that's important for us here, what I just talked about. This is Austin versus San Francisco, right? Now, to be forward, this here, why this is so important, it explains in just a few minutes why is Texas not having a housing problem while San Francisco is. Yeah, you hear this constantly. Oh my God, this is terrible. You know, there's all these housing problems. Okay, yeah, here it is. They're talking about it.
Here's a modern day tale of two cities, San Francisco, California, and Austin, Texas.
Now, both of these cities are left-leaning cities. Both are. Austin's very left-leaning, so is San Francisco, right? They both are. Both are large cities, right? That's true. Both have issues, right? So, and a lot of people are moving into Austin, left and right. They have growth problems, of course. So why is Austin not having problems? Because of Texas laws on zoning, and they cover a bunch of things here. So now when someone says, well, you know what, in New York, what you do is freeze the rents. Don't do that in Austin. You got to freeze the rent. Don't do that in Austin. Well, we got rent control in San Francisco and it doesn't work.
They're things both like large American cities, famous for their trend-setting tech sectors and cultural scenes.
Yes.
For Austin, this is the best of times. For San Francisco, it's more like the worst.
New data. And this piece I bring up because I want you to think about this, the kind of stuff you can learn on CiVL. You're having people tell you what's right and what's wrong. Where do you find it? Go on CiVL and find one of these cool documentaries. You can find so many of these everywhere. Look, I'm just popping see all here. These are all the documentaries here. You can see them, all of them. There's so many of them. Here's Malay from last year, what he did. Again, libertarian ideas. Thomas Sowell, right? All about Thomas Sowell. These are the things you can learn about him. Remember, I told you, free to choose, by the way, is amazing. It's all here.
The black family has always been disintegrating. That is nonsense. That his studies go up to 1925. Yep. The great bulk of black families were intact, two-parent families up through 1925, and going all the way back through the era of slavery. So,
do you understand that this is a black man in the 80s saying this? This is a black man in the 80s saying this. Thomas Sowell was way ahead of his time. Way ahead of his time. This is the kind of stuff you're going to get on CiVL. You can't get this anyplace else. This is what you want to be doing. When you want to upgrade civilization, when you want to stop getting from the conflict machine that just goes left and right screaming, CiVL's the place to go. Head over to CiVL when you can. CiVL, CiVL.com. When you put your name in, upper right-hand corner, see the green shading spot, hit that, put in the code Larry, capital Larry. That's my name. You get 50% off, $25 for the entire year. The entire year. 1 year you got it. And here's the best part. Wednesdays, civil only show, 7 p.m. And the best part about that is next Wednesday, you know who's going to be the show with me? The one and only Spike Cohen. Yes, Spike Cohen will be on that show next Wednesday. You want to see that? Got to join Civil. I know. I know. I'm teasing you. I know. So what? That's what I do. That's how it works. CiVL.com, code Larry, all caps, 50% off, $25 for the entire year. You get all kind of cool stuff. I'm on the network too. You get to see me and Spike. You get to see me and Spike Cohen together. It's kind of cool. I'm just saying, kind of cool. So, any case, let me grab some more comments if I could. I have a bunch of these now. I do want to grab your regular AMAs if I could. The Fish Guy says, happy birthday. Thank you so much. Vivek says, with EpiPen and Ukraine being the complete opposite of what was supposed to happen with Trump being president, it gets me thinking, how can the deep state be defeated? And I think that was one of the issues people are seeing now, that it is very hard to fix that. It is very challenging to make that happen. People are seeing, wait a minute, how can we push this? Trump was supposed to be the guy who fought all of this. Remember that? He was supposed to be the guy who fought all of this. And don't get me wrong, he has had more impact or more power than most presidents against this. It's true. But I told you last year, it doesn't go away. The deep state's real. And if those of you like deep state, how about permanent Washington? It's the same thing. Permanent Washington is the same thing, right? So I think any of those are, yes, it does make me feel this. And here's the issue. The only way you change it is by enough people saying, we're done. That's it. Most people still fall back. I say all the time. You see why do I get so mad when people talk about third parties? Right? Oh, he's gonna make the America Party, or libertarians or the Greens. And what do people go? They can't win. They do that. Yes, you are supporting the deep state every time you say that. Every time you say that. And here's the funniest example I can find that I love. Jimmy McMillan. I bring it up all the time. The rent is too damn high guy. That guy, right? Every time that guy got on a stage, he was never going to be mayor. He was never going to win an election. He knew it. But there used to be a party. The rent is too damn high party. That was a party in New York State until they destroyed all the parties, right? Why did that matter? Were they getting away? They're spoilers. No, they're not. When Jimmy McMillan's on the stage, you got to talk about the rent. Is that real? Curtis Sliwa, current Republican candidate for mayor. He's got a second independent line. What's that line about? Cruelty-free, non-cruel to animal line, whatever it is. Yes, it's a party talking about no-kill shelters. I happen to like that concept, but he's doing it too. He knows. Small parties make you change what happens. Trump wasn't talking about health until RFK Jr. runs independent. All of a sudden now we got Maha. Where'd that come from? Independent parties. Every time one of you guys goes, they can't win, blah, 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 whatever crap you talk about, you're ensuring deep state wins. You're ensuring deep state wins. The deep state right now is trying to fight Bobby Kennedy Jr. I'm not joking. Right now, they're trying to fight him. Luckily, though, he's having wins. And because he's having wins and Trump's in this kind of, I don't know, area right now, Trump is defending him. He's defending him right now. Let's hope he keeps defending him. But I'm just saying, that's where he is right now. So, yes. Vivek goes on to say, maybe he should have campaigned like Milei, not big promises. Agreed. I've said it all the time, Vivek. I think Trump's biggest mistake was he overpromised. Of all the mistakes he's made mistakes. He's done good things too. But of the biggest mistakes he made was in communication. He overpromised. And he shouldn't have. And I said it a while ago. I was like, you can't overpromise this stuff. It's going to come back to bite you. And it is. He overpromised. And the biggest one, as I said, was on the war. He should have. Maybe there should have been a general there to tell him, dude, you can't solve this in 24 hours. This is a year of conversations. And this is figuring out how the military industrial complex gets their cash. This is negotiations internal before it even goes someplace else, right? This is a big deal. Like, you can end it, but it's not 24 hours. It's more like 24 months. And you got to get a ceasefire first. I mean, it can be done, but man, yeah, he did not communicate well at all. I agree. Let's see here. But just say there will be some trouble at first, but my outsider status and my lessons from term one will lead to being fulfilled. Yeah, that would have been a better way of, I agree. That would have been better. Yes. William says, judging by last night, everyone will spend next year at the movies. What? Judging by last night, Everyone will spend next. Oh, because people like the movies. Yeah, movies are messing up, William. I think people, I'll say the opposite. I think now is the time. Now is the time. And I don't know how it's going to happen, if it's going to happen, but this timing's perfect. There's actually time right now for Hollywood to do something special right now. I don't think they will. I don't think it's in their culture. I don't think they can. But the timing is right. If Hollywood right now would go, you know what? We have been doing nothing but garbage. Let's get our best writers all together in one room. Let's make one big blockbuster movie. Let's make one big blockbuster awesome movie. Knock this thing out, and everyone will come back to the theater for that movie. Now's the time for that. But I don't think they have it in them at all. Now you add AI. Now you add all the local people. I think there is going to be a kind of a, this is going to be almost like a wild, wild west is my piece here with people doing movies. And there's going to be some amazingly good movies that local people make and some absolute hunks of garbage that no one's going to watch all together. Here is my worry, William. And I think this should be the rules on this. The way we deal with AI in media is you make a very simple law or regulation or rule, which is whatever is AI must somehow be labeled as AI. That's it. That's all. And let people choose if they want to have AI movies or not, or AI people or not. It's got to be labeled as AI clearly in some way. I don't know how you do that, but you have to. If you can't do that, then it's a problem. I would say the assumption is, and this may sound harsh from libertarian, but I think AI is a big deal. And I think you need to make it almost criminal, if not maybe even criminal. Otherwise, people will destroy each other on it. You have to make it, if you don't label it in some way as AI, that is considered fraud. That's what I think should happen. I think it somehow be labeled, or it's fraud. Why? Because fraud's an actual crime, right? Otherwise, what happens? Oh, I was just teasing when I put that up. I didn't want you to think it was actually William. Well, great. Just like X says, just put parody account and you can say what you want. Same idea. It's AI. Yeah, it's William, I don't know, beating up a dog or whatever. I don't know if you like dogs in that way, but whatever. You beating up a dog. Well, no, it's AI. See, it's all just AI. It's not really William. It's AI William beating up a dog. I have to somehow do that. If we do something like that, I think we'll be okay. If we don't, we're in trouble. That is my worry about AI. So, yeah. Umir says, happy birthday, Larry. Thank you. Larry Sharpe for governor. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. I'm looking over now at Rumble, and Texas Spy Historian says, happy birthday. Thank you. Yes. The Demonizer says, Trump should have brought back Douglas McGregor. That would have been great. I agree. That would have been amazing. Yes. Douglas McGregor, at least, whether you agree with him or not, that guy just says how he feels. He does. He just says how he feels. Yep. Americua says, all AI output needs a watermark of some form. I would buy that. I'm fine with that. Yes. I'm fine with that. Yes. It's a good idea, because I don't want people thinking that it's something that it's not. Do you know what I mean? That's my issue. Is it something that's not? So, yeah. All righty. I think William got mad because we talked about movies and stuff. We talk about all kind of stuff here, right? We do AMAs. For those of you who don't know, if you're new here, some people think this is a news show. It's not a news show. It's a show on both politics and culture. That's what it's about. And why I do it live is because I want you to have some control to go where you want to go down. I'm hoping, and I see it in the chat, that people go back and forth and chat about things that matter to them. I want you to know that I will talk about things that matter to me. And I want to be able to go back and forth that way. That's what I'm trying to achieve. And if that happens to be movies, I'm fine. If it's movies, it's good. If it's not movies, it's not. If it's movies, I'm fine. So yes. Mike's got a poll going up there. There's a new poll. Jump in, make a choice, then ask a friend to answer the chat poll too. Who knows? Your choice might win the day. It might. That's true. Hold on. Do you have a poll going? Let me see. Can I see the poll? I'm not sure if I can. Where are we here? All right. Let me see if I can see the poll. Hold on. Oh, I can. All right. What would be the perfect gift for Larry's birthday? Libertarian Party recognized by New York State. I like that. That's a good one. Hold on. Where am I here? Governor Larry Sharpe. I like that one. A donation from the heart. 50,000 subscribers in 2025. I like all of those, Mike. Yes to all of those. So yes, with that in mind, guys, with that in mind, here's what I'm going to ask you. If you want to get more subscribers, then the best way you can do that is by clicking the like button. Click the like button, India, Kilo. Click that button, and you will see that Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore Rhythm, will share this around much more. Also, share this yourself. Post this into a Facebook post, reshare this on X, what the case may be. And of course, be a subscriber. Follow me here on YouTube. Follow me here on Facebook, on X, on Rumble. Follow me to the best of your ability. It does matter. And of course, you know I do love members. If you can become a member, that's awesome. YouTube membership is $49. Click that join button. Membership does matter. Members are able to send me stuff that I can respond to. And as you know from last night, members can also come on the show if they want to, right? So, of course, members can send me stuff. They also get to come on the show. And I'm going to try to do another show next month. I know I'm kind of slow sometimes on the shows. It takes time. But members get to come on the show. Members get to submit reaction videos. So there is an advantage to being a member. You become part of us, which is great. So also, of course, if you want to, you can super chat me. Super chat me here on YouTube or rant me on Rumble. Also helps tremendously. If you want to give me a birthday rant or birthday super chat, as some people have already done, I always appreciate it, guys. Thank you for that. I definitely appreciate that tremendously. If you want to do that, that's always great. All right, let me grab some more of those. And by the way, I think governor is the best, but the problem is for this year, governor is for like a year and a half. So I may ask for that for my next birthday. This one I'm going to ask for either a donation or 50,000 subscribers. That's good. And by the way, if you guys do want to donate to any campaign stuff that I do, traveling across the country, or traveling across the state, you can still go to LarrySharpe.com if you want to donate. Now, to be very clear, if you go to LarrySharpe.com to donate, if you choose to do that, that is a political donation for me to travel the state. That's what that's used for. That's not here. They're two separate things. If you want to do it, please feel free. Happy to take any donations if you want to. Or here supports me directly. That does not support me directly. That supports political efforts to do other things. They're two separate things. If you love me, you must support me. That's here on Rumble or here on YouTube or here on Facebook. All good. No worries. Also, if you want to help me out, you can also support CiVL because CiVL is a sponsor and also part of I'm on a network now. That also helps me. You want to support my political things that I do. That is separate. That is LarrySharpe.com. Political donation. You want to go there, please go ahead. Monthly, you can do a monthly subscription if you want to. 5, 10, 20 bucks a month, whatever. All good, whatever you feel appropriately. So I want to make sure so I don't get in trouble politically. They are two separate things. Either one you want, that's awesome. So there we go. All righty. Let me grab some more of these if I can. There's so many of these. I'm going to keep going. All righty. AI Larry picture misses. You know what I got to tell you what I'm happy about, Joel, is that I'm popular enough that I can just put my name in AI. They know what Larry Sharpe it is. They can draw a picture of me. That's pretty good. That I'm happy about. Is it perfectly AI, Larry? No. But you know it's me. I mean, like you could tell it's me. So yeah, it's fine. It's good enough. It's good enough. Kim says, wishing you a wonderful day, Larry. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Missy says, happy birthday, Bessie. Yes, that's true. Becky's happy birthday, Larry. I appreciate that. So good. Mike, hey, Larry, happy birthday. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. You're older than me. Old man boss. Just saying. Just saying. Rick says, Larry, thanks for being born. Oh, I wish I had more to do with it, but it just kind of happened. I didn't have much to do with it. So, yes. Michael says, happy birthday, Sharpe 57. That's me. Leela, Sharpe Way birthday. Thank you. God, a lot of stuff. I appreciate that. Yes. Kim says, keto isn't making me younger. You're not doing it right, Kim. It makes you younger. We got to change how you're doing it. So, yeah. Phil says, happy birthday, Larry, and many happy returns of the day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. James says, happy birthday, Larry. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. So, John, thank you for the $10, my friend. He says, Larry, did you see the George Santos and Tucker Carlson interview? What do you think? Also, happy birthday. I saw a little bit of it yesterday. I didn't have time. I was insanely busy today. My team knows I'm overwhelmed with so much stuff I'm working on right now. So I didn't have time to watch the interview, but I saw a chunk of it. He seemed surprisingly upbeat. Isn't he going to jail for like 6 years or something? So look, Tucker's getting good interviews. I'll have to watch it. But my gut says it'll be a great interview because George doesn't care anymore. So he's going to say whatever he feels. And those are almost always good ones. That's what I think. My VA lady, thank you for $2, says, my wish for Larry Sharpe is 500 plus followers on Rumble. We're at 480 something now. So guys, if you want to make VA lady happy, that's D, by the way. You want to make D happy, you can head over to Rumble and join up on Rumble. It's free. Just click the follow or subscribe or join. I think it's join, right? Click the join. Boom. There you are. You're all good. I think that absolutely can work. Right? Very simple and makes her happy. And I want to make D happy. Don't you want to make D happy? Why do you hate D? Why do you guys hate D? What did she do to you? Nothing. Now you guys hate her. Can't believe you guys. So, yes. Kim says, people learn best through experience. The experience they need to know to learn from our lost arts. Well, there's an interesting saying which I love. They say, good judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from bad judgment. So I like that concept. So Biquote says, unions helped something loneliness, but the right destroyed those. That's not true. That's not true. Civil, groups help with loneliness. Marriage helped with loneliness. Families together help with loneliness. Unions, that's not a thing. That's not, and the right to destroy unions. Bill Clinton helped destroy unions too. I mean, I think it started heavily with Reagan. I think that's true. Reagan was where it started. But did Bill Clinton help unions? Did Biden help unions? Did Obama help unions? No. So to say the right, that's incorrect. Unions have been destroyed being destroyed for a long time. And the reason why they're destroyed before is because government took them over in the first place. Unions should exist in the market like everything else. Labor has every right to fight in the market just as much as the corporations do. But the problem is the unions have become big corporations themselves. And that's why they're being broken, because of those reasons more than anything else. If you look at, and the response to many unions have been things like co-ops and things like that. And they're much more powerful now at a local level. The unions, unions in many ways destroy themselves. Let me tell you why. When a union becomes a monopolistic corporation or oligarchy, which many of them have become, they actually are more concerned with individuals in the union who are unionized workers making more money and being more powerful than having more jobs for people. So it's very common that once they unionize, the jobs all get smaller and smaller and smaller. And so, yeah, they're not doing a good job of working together. Now, an example of that not happening is in certain areas of the world. I think Japan's one of them. Unions aren't organized by industry. They're organized by company. What does that mean? That means instead of having a union that covers 7-8 countries of all, say, truck drivers, there is a union of the people in that company that tends to do better. Not always, but it tends to, because at least then they can work together. Because if the company goes under, the union goes under, right? They're tied by that. They both have to work together. So you find it tends to work better. So unions are being destroyed. True. It's not the right, though. The country itself has been doing it for a long time, right and left. I can't think of, like governors help unions? No, the governors help the public unions because they get votes from them. That's it. So, yeah. All righty. Mike says, people won't notice the lack of marriages and children until the 30-year-olds get 45-ish. They've been talking about that. It will hit them like a brick, and it's just too late. They've missed their chances. See, there's another issue, I think, Mike. The age piece is hurting women more than men right now. If men check out early, their odds of them having a relationship are slim. But what winds up happening is they simply accept they're not going to have a relationship. Just accept it. They just go, I'm done. I don't want it. I'm out. They begin to accept it. If they check out later, that is when they have a lot of mental issues. Someone who's been married for many years, gets divorced, loses their family, loses their wife, loses their kids. That guy's in trouble. But the young guy who just goes, I'm going to hang out with my bros and play video games and have a job, that guy, he just checks out. He's not really, he actually isn't as unhappy as people think. I mean, don't be wrong. Would he rather have a relationship? Probably yes. Would he rather have, kid? Probably yes. But he's accepted it and he creates his own world. Women have a great time as they're young. They get a lot of attention from men, lots of older men. Then when they get older, they get less attention. Then they start being unhappy. Wait a minute, what happened? What happened? So I think you're right. For it comes to women, I think men, if men lose stuff, that's when they get devastated. But if men never had it, I know a lot of men, 30 years old, have had a relationship in 10 years, don't care, making no attempt, like no attempt. They look at women like whatever. They no attempt. None. Doesn't matter how hot the woman is. Doesn't matter how smart. They're not interested at all. And I know men now who get past the pain of losing their spouse, losing their kids, if they can get past the pain, and that can be really hard for men. But if they get past it, they go the same way. I don't care. Whatever. And then the men who are getting women just never commit. Why would they bother? Why would they bother? And now you have, of course, to your point, 45-ish. And this, you see this in the city too, I'm sure. Cities are terrible for women. It's terrible for women. If you're a woman and you want a relationship, if you want fun, come to a city. You will have a ton of fun. Good for you. Enjoy your life. You'll have a lot of fun. You want a relationship? Don't come to a city. Go to a suburb, go to a rural area. Don't come to a city. Full of players. Full of men who've checked out and players. That's who you got in the cities. Men who've checked out and players. That's like who you got. So I don't know. I see your point though. And the problem is for men, and again, this is unfair, but still true. Once you hit 45, 50, doesn't matter. You start a whole family over, doesn't matter. And a lot of men do. You see it more and more older men deciding, yeah, time to settle down. Then they're 50, they grab a 30-year-old. They're 50, they grab a 25-year-old. They're 45, they grab a 20-year-old. I think it's common. And a lot of the young women are like, the young men around my age can't give me anything because the system's changed so much. The young men are getting screwed over left and right. So they go, okay, this is older guy who will give me a bunch of stuff. Yeah, all right, I'll take it. That's fine. So he's older. He'll give me stuff. And the other one can't give me anything. So I'll take it. Valid points. So, Bigote says culture didn't destroy unions. Yeah, it did. Of course it did. Yeah, America destroyed unions. It's not, I mean, I know people want to blame one side all the time, but it was, I'll never forget, Bill Clinton's the guy who said the age of big government's over. Bill Clinton signed NAFTA. It's not the right. That's not a thing, man. I'm not trying to be mean and be forward. It's not the right. The country's been moving anti-union for a long time, particularly in the 80s. Particularly in the 80s. I mean, we were like way anti-union in the 80s. Yeah. I saw it happen a lot. Yes. So, all righty. Michael says, happy birthday, Larry. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. All right. Phil says, my grandfather was a member of the union for 50 years. It gave him a nice watch, but not happiness. Yeah, unions don't make happiness. Not a thing. Civic units, you know, things like that. They make happiness, right? But not unions. That's not a thing. That is a thought process. So yeah. Mike says the left destroyed unions when they made them political tool. Yeah, I wasn't okay, but now Mike goes the opposite way. He goes, had nothing to do with the right. It did too. I mean, the right started destruction of unions. The left made it finish them off. But yeah, it's both sides. It's definitely both sides. There's no doubt. So, all righty. Joel says, if billions of people posted the earth is flat on every platform over and over, would AI be convinced the earth is flat? At one point, yes. Yes, at one point, yes. Remember, AI isn't alive. It doesn't actually think. It just takes what's there and then moves from it, right? So yes, eventually it would. Yes. James says, only a matter of time before Democrats, Republicans use this weapon system to not only take over the world, but also end the United States as we know it. True, but I would argue, James, that we won't know that it's over, right? When the Roman Empire fell, most Romans didn't know it fell. They were like, oh, this is what the empire is now? Okay. Like the barbarians who took over the empire, they thought they were the new Romans, right? So they didn't think the Roman Empire ended. They were like, we're the Romans now. That's what they were thinking. So, yeah. Anyway, just thought that was, yeah. Let me look over here if I could. Make sure I'm good on Rumble. Okay, great. We're good on Rumble. And let me grab a couple more. Ryan, Phil, you totally failed me with the Cubs. Okay, different thing. Sorry. Missy says, I love my ChatGPT. He's my therapist and boyfriend. What should I name him? You're not alone. You're not alone, Missy. Many people are saying that. But Joel Sweet, he goes, Missy Richmond, wow, he's a lucky guy. Oh, that was very sweet, Joel. That was very sweet. Yes. Big Scotty says, libertarians seem to not realize the consequence of allowing oligarchs to make unlimited profits. Why do you? Okay, let me try to be clear on this. Let's be clear on this. Oligarchs been making tons of profits for years, decades, centuries, right? What libertarian was in charge that changed those rules? That would be none. We're in charge of nothing. Never does anyone get to blame libertarians for this shit. We're in charge of nothing. Who's been in charge? Democrats and Republicans for hundreds of years. Democrats and Republicans, and they've controlled all parts. At one point, Democrats controlled all, and at one point, Republicans controlled all. What did they change? Right, they changed, nothing. So no, you don't get to say libertarians. When we run shit and it's messed up, you could be right. We don't run, you know what we run right now? Kind of Argentina. And that's doing really well. So the one thing that we're running is doing better. Not great, but relative to before, better. So please, my friend, you want to blame oligarchs? There's not one libertarian who's run a goddamn thing that's made one change. Libertarians are against monopoly, whether that monopoly is government, whether that monopoly is a private sector. We are against monopolies. So no, that is stuff you made up. None of that's true. We don't run anything. You mad at the system? Look at Republicans, Democrats, and look at us. When we run things, then you could be mad at us. Tell you what, make sure we run something. Then you can attack us and call us bad, say it's all our fault. The only thing we got right now is Argentina. And again, not perfect, but I'm not going to say it's perfect. But compared to what it was, so much better. Milei is a godsend for Argentina. And that's libertarian. So no, brother, the opposite is true. Libertarians, the one guy who's doing something, we're winning, not losing. All the problems, that's Democrats, Republicans, not us. So, yeah. All righty. Leela says, never fight Russia. I don't know. The Germans beat Russia. The only people that ever beat Russia was Germans. That's it. Only thing that stops Germans is other Germans. Americans and Germans. That's why we beat them in World War II. Only thing that stops, and we beat them in World War I. Only thing that beats Germans in war, other Germans. That's it. I don't mean to be mean. It's just true. Yes. So, William says, it's called Greater Judea. Oh, is it Judea? I thought it was Israel. Okay. But yeah, there are people who actually want it. You're right, William. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. Yes. Because it says most Americans have no appreciation for the Russian contribution to World War II. True. Agreed. Absolutely. People don't realize over 2/3 of the German army, German military war machine was in Russia. Over 2/3. Absolutely true. We don't realize that. Yes. You're absolutely correct. James says, this is an amazing wish. I'm trying to make that come true in North Carolina. Well, let's make sure it happens. Let's make it happen. I am in. I want it to happen. Let's do that. All righty. So let me grab more of these. Lila says, Musk has to go about America Party the right way for it to have any performance. True. Biscote says, Cosby's so sad. Agreed. I know. Yes. Phil says, we'll send Larry a pudding pop. Joel, hey. Yes, thank you, guys. I get the jokes. Thank you. Yes. Rick says, we can only trust the establishment parties as politicians to be establishment tools, no matter how they cosplay as being populist rabble-rousers. You know, can they make a little change here or there? Yes, but no. I'm with you. Mastermind Hour says Trump is going to crap out. I got to tell you, I think you're right. I think he is. And I don't want him to. And I don't mean to be mean, but if you were around when Biden won, I wanted Biden to win. I wanted him to do well. I wanted Trump to do well. I do. I feel like you're right. I think Trump, if I had to bet, I think you're right. But here's the thing about Trump. Trump's an anomaly. If anyone can fix it, it's him. I stand by that. The guy has come back from shit nobody should have come back from. So if this can be fixed, it may not be able to, but if it can be, it's him. If anyone can fix it, it's him, if that's possible. So yeah, we'll see. And I'm going to give him 6 months, Masterman. I think we should give him 6 months. Give him 10 of the year. See what happens. I think it can be done. I hope his tariff deals become amazing tariff deals, and the big, beautiful bill does all the cool stuff he said. I hope it's true. I'm with you, though. Not looking good. But I want it to work. I want you to be wrong. I want you to be like, oh my God, Larry, look how awesome everything happened out and everyone's happy and things are great. I want you to be wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. That's where my head is. Mike says, Larry, I'm a little surprised by the poll results so far. I expected a bit more competition in the answers. Oh, hold on. What are the answers? Oh, no, but I wants to be governor, man. I'm with you. I want to be governor too. I love that. Yes. Liberty Lady says, the Sharpe civilians. Ooh, I like that. That's our name. The Sharpe civilians are the cool kids. Yep. Biscote says, I thought they already did a deal with Erdogan. Yes. Here's the issue with Erdogan. The deal was made between three groups, right? It was the guy who runs Syria. I forgot the guy's name now. He's a former, is it Al-Qaeda guy? I think he's ISIS guy. No, Al-Qaeda guy. Right, that guy. I've forgotten his name now. Him, Erdogan, and Netanyahu. Three-way. He's talking about no Syrian guy. That's what he's talking about. The deal was already made, but the Syrian guy, he was like, can I have like a rump country something? And they were like, yeah. Oh, thank you. The name I says, Al-Jilani. That's him. Thank you, Al-Jilani. Thank you. Al-Jilani is the guy. Al-Jilani runs Syria. So the deal was with those three guys. That was the deal. All three. Al-Jilani was like, can I just like have a country? And Erdogan was like, yeah, if it's like this. And Netanyahu was like, yeah, if it's like that. And he said, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. Can I just have a country? And they went, yeah, take it. What he's talking about is, yeah, that might not be, we might be kidding about that. That's the difference. If that makes any sense. So yeah, that's the point. So yeah. Joel says, who is planning a 58th birthday keto barbecue gubernatorial run fundraiser? Yes. You are, Joel. That's who. Nico says, happy birthday. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yep. All righty. Phil says, next year in the governor's mansion. Well, next year, this time, there'll still be a race, assuming that we're running. There'll still be a race. So, yeah, that's the issue there. There'll still be a race, if assuming that's true. So, yeah. So, all righty. What else do I have here? Hold on. I'm checking the poll. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm not surprised by the poll at all. I'm not, Mike. I'm not surprised at all. Yes. James says, I think all third-party independent candidates are going to have to start showing no mercy on the major parties. That's my point. Yes, yes, I did that. One of my lessons I learned in 2021 and 2022 was trying to be kind and normal to Democrats, Republicans, thinking that they actually might care about things like helping people and victory and stuff like, even with no, they're all grifters. They are worthy of scorn. You are correct. Yes. And if I have to deal with them next year, I will show no mercy. You're right. They don't respect us. They don't respect me. Yes. I will, what was the phrase from James Earl Jones? Oh, when he was Thulsa Doom. I'm going to find that phrase. I'm going to find that phrase. You'll see. All right. Rick says, Netanyahu is the one who controls the list and the government through it, and AIPAC handlers provide fine-tuning. You think that's true? I have heard that before. I wonder if that's true, right? I wonder if that's true. Maybe. It's believable, but it seems like maybe it's not. I don't know. Like, I'm torn on this one. I am torn on this one. I don't know. I'm not sure where I want to go. I'm torn on it. So, all right. Let me keep going. Phil says vodka is keto, not recommended. I don't really drink. So, yeah, I don't drink. Phil saw the documentary. It's really good. Yes, absolutely. It talks a lot about the right stuff. It does. Lila says, I can tell a bureaucrat from a mile away. They have a different look to them. Those persons are impossible to interrelate with. Don't even bother. The issue about dealing with most people who are bureaucrats, particularly if they've been a bureaucrat for a while, is they are taught that the goal isn't success. The goal isn't impact. The goal isn't helping. The goal is checking a box, following the rules. That's the goal. They will help you. They're not against helping you. But the number one thing for a bureaucrat is, can I help you while checking boxes? Can I help you while covering my butt by following the rules. It can help equal that. They're happy to help. They're not bad people. They just have to make sure they're always checking boxes and that they are always following rules. So if that equals helping you, they're happy to help. They're not bad people, but helping is secondary. Following rules, checking boxes, particularly if they've been around for 10, 20 years, that's what they know. That's what they care about. Got to do this by the book. That's the issue. By the book. That's how they think. Nomadic says, happy birthday. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Christopher says, oh, wow. Happy birthday. Thank you. Yes. So I'm so glad. Yes. Thank you, guys. All righty. Joel says, if you're not careful, you might learn something. Was a warning Cosby gave before his cartoons. The warning fits Sharpe Way episodes too. Aw. There were other warnings people probably should have had about him, but that was a nice one. Yes. That was a nice one. Yes. Lila says, many mature people have had to move away from San Francisco. Yes. We're talking about people who are not familiar with any type of style of living and moving elsewhere. Yeah. Absolutely true. Yes. Kintsugi in the house. Hey, guys. Happy birthday. Larry, stay sharp. Every day I wake up, I'm sharp. Every day I wake up, I'm sharp. So, yes. Oh, I missed this one, Duke. I'm so sorry. Thank you for $2. I reiterate, make tarring and feathering great again. It might make some judges do the right thing. I'm just saying the judges have no reason to do anything, to make anything work. Yes, none at all. K-John says, maybe Trump's ear wound was a warning and he was told that once he got in. See, this one I can't buy. It seems, do you gamble on that kind of, I don't know on this one. This one, look, I put my tinfoil hat on sometimes too. I mean, I do also. You've got to see me do it, but I'm not sure about this one. Little Lady says, Larry Sharpe and Spike Cohen on CiVL. The Sharpe civilians are going to love that one. I'm going to love it because it's two of my favorite GOAT libertarian mentors in one podcast. That is next Wednesday, 7 p.m. That is true because CiVL is one of our sponsors. But another one of our sponsors, in case you didn't realize, is, of course, the Advocates. Guys, if you want to do me a favor, hook up with the Advocates. I ask you to do that too. Advocates, what they want from you is your time. They want your time. They want you to share what's going on. Head up. There's a link in Rumble, a link on Facebook, in the description, a link on YouTube. Please click that specific link. That link lets them know that you came from me. Click that link. Head on over there and do me a favor. Take the human respect test. That's what I'm asking for. You guys saw me go through the other one the other day, right? Now, I'm not saying go to this World's Smallest Political Quiz, but instead go through the human respect test. Takes about 3 minutes. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. 3 minutes? Come on, you got 3 minutes. I know you do. So head over there. It's free. Take the test. You pop what you want to do, share your results. You take the test. You check your beliefs, and then you share. Then share your results. I want you to share your results out so people see it. How respectful are you? You can pick the one you want. You're libertarian, you're more progressive, more conservative, more moderate, more authoritarian. Which one are you? Now, if you've taken your earlier test, your World's Smallest Political Quiz test, you know which one you are already, but you may know already, whichever. I'm going to get libertarian, of course. So as I pop the libertarian test, now my question, right? Select one. Do I take the quiz? Do I want to take the human respect test? Or I want to keep going. Nope, I'm going to human respect test. Where I'm going. Here it is. Libertarians like you believe people should have the right to pursue their goals as long as they don't harm others. And then we walk down a road. As you may have heard, a core tenet of libertarianism is the principle of non-harm, which states that initiating violence against someone is wrong. We also refer to that as the principle of human respect. In other words, libertarians live by something like the golden rule. If you believe you should be able to live free and should not be harmed, you believe others should live free and not be harmed, as long as they're not harming anyone in the process. You agree or disagree. And then it moves on from there to more detailed question. Now, persuasion versus coercion. What do you think, right? As an individual, when is it acceptable to use physical force? To compel, to defend, to compel. What is it? When can you use it? How can you use it? You walk down each road. This is an interesting test for you to think about, show others, to take. This will help you make answer questions yourself. Where do you stand? I love this stuff so much because you think more and more about it, and that's what I want. So please head over there, take your respect test. Once you're done, share it, Tag me, tag the advocates, but share it so people see you've taken it, and then share it with your friends. Guys, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. All right, and grab some more of these if I can. Minor Threat says, happy birthday, LS. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Missy says, Sharpe Way swag. There is some Sharpe Way swag. There is. You're going to head over to Zazzle, put in Sharpe Way. There's swag there. You can grab a couple shirts. You can grab a couple cups, hat, whatever you like. It's all there if you want to. Please do that. That'd be amazing. Lila says, RFK Jr. is an extremely willful individual, savvy politically, born into that. It's going to take enormous energy to extract him. But we really have no need to extract him. He's not perfect, but there are things RFK Jr. can do within politics that nobody else on earth can accomplish. Talented. Agreed, however. I'm going to give you a however, Leela. It isn't us that want to get rid of him. It's not like me and you. We don't want to get rid of him. The deep state, permanent Washington does. So for them, there is absolutely a reason for them to get rid of him. Of course there is. They need to because he's messing things up. So you're right. From my point of view, your point of view, you're correct. But if I'm running out of big pharma, oh, I don't want that guy. I'm big agriculture. You got to go. So yeah. So all depends. Yes, it all depends. 100%. So Missy says, use a super chat to highlight your question or comment for Larry to read live. Yes, that's a wonderful idea. Absolutely. So Super Weapon says, happy birthday, Larry Sharpe. Thank you. Lila says, Larry being POTUS. Now you're asking a lot. You know, people often ask, Larry, why don't you run for a president? Why don't you run for this? Why don't you run for that? Because I want to make impact. I want to run for something where I can make impact. Running for president, not being able to raise a bunch of money, running for president so I can, I don't know, push my ego, which most people who run presidents, it's an ego trip, right? I don't need that. I literally have a show with my name on it. I'm fine, right? I don't require that. I don't need that anymore. I'm looking to make impact. I feel like New York State is where I can make the most impact. I feel like I have a chance at maybe winning, a chance at changing policy, a chance at moving forward and getting people locally to win, even if I don't win. I saw that in 2019. Those who don't know, I'm so proud of this. I say all the time. In 2018, when I actually got ballot access, I crossed it again in 2019. We had 107 local victories. 107. We went from 0 libertarians to 107. And they were all local, small, you know, city council, water board, stuff like that. All small, but I don't care. That was great. That's how you start, grassroots, right? So 107, 0 to 107. What if next year we were what? 214? Great. Year after, maybe we get one in the assembly or something, or maybe we get a county executive. We did get an attorney general from one. Sorry, not the DA, district attorney. We did get one district attorney. We got one. So we did get one district attorney. So it could work. You can get libertarians elected if we keep going. So yeah, absolutely. So, all righty. Let's see. Lila says one more time. Okay, there's many ways you can. Lila, head to, if you're watching on Facebook, go to the show description. In the description, you'll see there are 4 different ways to support the show. Pick one of them. That's simple. Pick one of those. Ingrid says, I hope you have a great day. Wishing the best this year. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Kim says, being a member at Larry Sharpe is the best membership I've ever had. Yes. Ryan says, depression sucks. It does. And I'll tell you something about depression that sucks horribly, is that many of us who get depressed, and I've gone through depression many times in my life. The worst part is when you're a functioning depressed person. And what does that mean? For those of you who know, you know. You can function and be depressed. You can function and be an alcoholic. You can function and be an addict. You can be functional. When you're not functional, it's more obvious to you that you have a problem. But when you're functioning, it's much easier to lie to yourself, right? If I'm still able to get up in the morning and go to work, even though I'm depressed, I can lie to myself and say, it isn't that bad. I'm still going to work. So it isn't that bad, right? Right? I'm still good, right? Until I crash. So if you can't function well, it's actually better, unless people can see this, right? And see, and then come in and help you out. And that's an issue. But I've struggled with depression many times. I have very high expectations of myself when I don't meet them. And yeah, of course, it does suck. The issue is also noticing, I bring this up often. Are you seeking pleasure constantly? Are you seeking dopamine hits constantly? That's a good sign you're getting depressed. Not 100%, but it's a very good sign. Are you feeling disrespected? That's one of my biggest issues, to be forward with you. One of my biggest issues is feeling disrespected so often by so many. That's one of my harshest things to deal with. People tend to like me, but a lot of people don't always respect me. They think that I'm silly, or I'm wrong, or I live in a fantasy world. So I do get that sometimes, because I'm not mainstream, so I don't get mainstream respect. So that sometimes does bother me, depending upon where I am. I do find that sometimes popping up in my world. I do get that sometimes. That's probably one of my biggest issues. Also, not achieving the goals that I've set for myself. Trying to make the thing happen and just can't make it happen. Just can't make it happen. Just can't make it happen. That can be challenging too. One of the things I'm lucky is I have a lot of, as you guys can see, I have a lot of tenacity. So what helps me out, and it may not be for you, but maybe it is, and that is when I see myself getting depressed, I try to make anger a temporary stop. Now, this is challenging, so it's not for everybody. It depends upon what you've had in your past and how you deal with anger. For me, anger is a very good temporary stop. If I turn my depression into anger against something, I want to get it, and then I go after it, and then I get angry and I want to take it. That helps me to move forward. Some people, it doesn't work very well, Brian. You get angry and you go into an anger spiral, down spiral. If you find yourself going into a downward spiral, anger is not a good stop for you. You don't do it right. You don't do it temporarily. My anger gets me into taking action. When I'm mad at something or mad at someone, I start thinking, how do I make it happen? How do I get them back? How do I solve this problem? And that gets me thinking, and that's very helpful. The number one thing for depression is getting yourself to believe you can achieve something. Very often when you're depressed, as you know, if you've been through it, you're talking about it, so you know, when you're depressed, you feel like nothing matters. You feel like it doesn't matter. I can't achieve anything. I can't do anything, so why bother? That's the biggest thing. Why bother? I'd rather just get my dopamine hit, on my phone, or with my video game, or with my substance, or with my drug, or whatever, with my whatever I'm using, right? I'm a gambler, my narcotics, whatever's the thing I'm using my dopamine hit for, right? You can start doing that instead. So yeah, I would hope that, Ryan, when it hits, and it hits many of us, when it hits, you start thinking, what can I do about it? The biggest defense against depression with that is taking action, plans, and taking action. Someone who is sad or depressed or pessimistic or depressed or in a bad spot is looking backward. Always. Things were good. What happened? What did I lose? It used to be. That's depression. It is no longer good. Once you think about the future, what I can achieve, I can do, I need to do, the depression begins to wane. The longer you can spend time moving towards the future, whatever that is, the more your depression will recede. So I hope that's helpful. But yes, you are correct. That is an accurate statement. K. John says, dinner with 3 people, alive or dead. Who do you pick? Okay, that'd be the same two questions. Do I have to, can I speak their language? Because they may not be American, speak English. 2, does it have to be all 3 of them at the same time or separately? If it's separately, there's several I want. One of them I want to sit and talk to, believe it or not, is Otto von Bismarck. One of the best politicians, savvy people, philosophers Europe's ever had. One of the best. So Otto von Bismarck for sure. I want to have that conversation. See where he was thinking, where his head is, all that stuff. Also, Miyamoto Musashi, greatest swordsman of Japan ever had, I think 16th century, maybe 15th, but I think 16th century. Him. His views on life, how it works, all that for sure. Those two for sure. Third one, it's a tough one. Okay. If I have dinner with them, do I get to build a relationship with them? Third question, the relationship with them. If I get to build a relationship with them, there's a couple ladies I can think of. That's what I'll say. I'll leave that alone at that point. But yes, there we go. Those are my three. There we go. All righty. Let me keep going here. Rick says, Bill Clinton brought the Reagan vision to life with Republican Congress. Yes, agreed. Both sides. I know people want to go, oh, it's the left. Oh, it's the right. This was both sides. Absolutely. So Missy says, Sharpe Way does help loneliness. At Kim, I agree. Yes, thank you. Yes, we do, because we're all together. It's true. Yes, it's true. There we go, Kim. Reagan drafted NAFTA, Clinton signed it. Done and done. Brian says, happy birthday, future Governor Sharpe. What a year it's been. Wishing you more support for your platforms and growth in your numbers for your channel. Oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Yes. Okay. So I'm trying to get down as fast as I can. So, all righty. Lila says, I remember that I had to join a union, Teamsters, even to work for my dad's family and friends growing growers packing house. Yeah. Mandatory unions are dumb. It's a terrible idea. It's unconstitutional. It shouldn't be a thing. Unions should exist and they should be very popular. Unions are important. I'm not anti-union at all, but they should not be run by government or controlled by government. I understand why they were. I do. I understand why it happened, right? I get why it happened, but it should end. Unions should be able to be on their own and work well. Kinzuki says, okay, outside of the cities. You probably should. IC says, I don't want to be a player no more. Well, some men still do. Some women too. That's not just, Yes. Yes. Feels like, get out of the city. Yeah. Yes. Missy's like, this country mouse is staying her behind out of the city mouse territories. They are different. Yes. See, Kintsugi don't want no scrub. See, that's her issue. She don't care about players. She's okay with them. She doesn't want scrub. So, yeah, that's all. Yes. Lila says, unions actually believe they're a necessity. In today's economy, they probably are. But you could shift your economy around to have much more co-ops and employee-owned companies to where unions wouldn't be that important. It could happen. We're not there in America at all. But could that be a future? Could be, right? I'm not against at all encouraging worker-owned businesses. I think it's amazing. You should do what you want. My issue is we would wind up making it like a rule somehow, which will wreck it. This is the point. You want the market and local communities to move as they see fit, to make the right mix and match. Some people, depending on where they are in their life and who they are, just want to go to a job, get a paycheck, and go home. Some do, and you should be able to do that. Some people want to be able to join a union and work in a big company and negotiate their right. Good, you should be able to do so. Some would just say, look, I want to own part of the company. I want to be work owned. Good. You should be able to do as you see fit, when you see fit, how you see fit, with businesses and communities as they see fit. The problem is government steps in and goes, that's mandatory, that's monopoly, that's a rule, that's a rule. No. Leave people alone. Support people who want to. The First Amendment is where unions are. Freedom of association, freedom of speech. That's literal unions. It's our First Amendment. So why is the government getting involved and controlling them and stopping them? Let them work. They can work. They absolutely can work. So yeah. Anyway. All righty. Let me grab some more of these. Super Weapon says you only get oligarchs by way of removing the gold standard and unlimited money printing and regulatory capture. Which libertarians are 100% against. 100% against that. Yes, absolutely. Patty says, Sarah Connor is not happy we love AI. Remember Sarah Connor? I do. Sarah O'Connor. Yes, I remember Sarah O'Connor. Yeah, she was the one who was really anti-AI. Skynet's real. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely an issue. I completely agree. So, alrighty. Rick says, people in a free market only get money when they give people what they want or need. If they have nothing of value, no one parts their money. Yes, however, what people want or need is very varied. Some people just want a warm, fuzzy feeling. Yeah. But you're right. I'm just saying it's not always the same. So, yeah. Lila says, yay, Germans then. I'm not sure about that. Yes. Matthew says, Mother Nature with the Germans? No, not at all. It's not true. No, the Americans beat Germans. And America, the largest minority, the largest ethnic group of Americans in 1918, when they beat the Germans, and in 1945, we beat the Germans, was Germans. I think to this day, still, I think like 20% of Americans relate themselves to Germans. We don't talk about it much because, systematically murder part of your population and tends to be unpopular. But I still have a flag. So, yeah. So, and people don't realize this because we don't talk about it. In World War I, the Germans beat the Russians. They beat them. The Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. The Germans beat the Russians and created, by the way, recognized Ukraine. Imperial Germany, not the one with the mustache Germany, not that Germany. I'm talking the Kaiser in 1918. This is before that really pissed off Austrian painter took over the country. Before that, right? This is Imperial Germany when there was a Kaiser. The Germans beat the Russians. The Treaty of Brest-Litovsk is the treaty that they signed, where Germany actually recognized Ukraine as a nation. True story. So what beat the Germans? The Americans joined the war. So Germans beat Germans. In World War II, if the Americans never joined the war, they wouldn't have pumped up the Russians so they could keep fighting the Germans, and they wouldn't have made invasions into Africa and into France. So the Germans would have eventually beat the Russians. If the Americans had never joined the war, the Brits would eventually have surrendered or just stopped fighting at one point, or surrendered or stopped fighting. The Germans would have beaten Russia because they wouldn't have stopped. And Americans would not have kept pumping money into them. So, yeah, only Germans beat Germans. That's it. Any case. The Romans didn't beat the Germans. The Mongols didn't beat the Germans. I'm just saying, they didn't. They were Germanic states the whole time. And what kept the Germans messed up is interfighting through Germany. So once the Germans Germany is a very new country, by the way. Germany became a country in 1871. We're older than Germany is. People don't know that. So yes. All righty. Liberty says, Larry, off topic. There's no such thing as AMA. What are your favorite things to do around New York with your daughters when you are not podcasting? Well, I podcast every day, so nothing. Kidding. Certain things that we like doing. My daughters actually like running errands. I know it sounds silly, but they like walking around the city because where I live, I walk everywhere. Right. So my oldest one loves just, hey, Dad, what are you doing today? Go shopping, go do this, pick up this, stop by the post office, go get a haircut, whatever. She loves just going out, walking around, enjoying the walkableness of our city. Where we live in Astoria, there's a nice park. We sometimes do picnics. We hang out, watch people play games, that kind of stuff. That stuff we actually do enjoy. So yeah, but that's it. That's outside. Also, we do things like we actually will go apartment hunting, even if we're looking for a partner or not. We'll go apartment hunting and do that. True. And we'll go to places like the aquarium in Brooklyn, or Central Park in Manhattan, or the Bronx Zoo in the Bronx, those types of things. So we enjoy those types of things around the city. And outside of that, my daughters and I actually like watching silly YouTube videos together. We used to do like Roblox or Minecraft when they were little. As they got older, now we like watch YouTubers and stuff, that kind of, watch movies together. I try every couple of weeks to watch a classic movie with my oldest, like Jaws or The Godfather, or even some of the action movies from the 80s, like Rocky, which is kind of like a boxing movie, action movie, but that kind of stuff. I try to get her to see some of the older stuff so she knows where the last stuff came from. So there we go. Hope I answered your question. So, all righty, couple more of these here. Okay, John, thank you for the gift of membership, guys. Grab a membership if you can, please. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. Duke of Facts, $5. Human nature is man's worst enemy. If libertarians would ever gain power, they just become part of the system. How do you reconcile this? I disagree. I disagree completely. Did Milei? No. Do you know how many times, and I mean this, I've said this publicly, do you know how many times I've been bribed? Every time I run, they bribe me not run. At one point, one of their agents came by and offered to pay my debts off. I'm not joking. If libertarians are ideologues, they will not. They won't. They become unbribable. You think they're not bribing Milei? They bribe me, and I'm a nobody. Imagine Milei, how much they bribed him. I disagree completely. I think he's the example. I think there's proof of that not being true. How about I'll look at Thomas Massie. Justin Amash walked away. Thomas Massie, they're throwing money to try to get rid of him. You tell me they haven't bribed him already? Come on. Now, I don't know any of this information. I don't know if they bribed him or not. I don't know that, but I know that. Of course they have. Of course they have. Absolutely. So I would argue that there are examples of that not being true. I would say there are arguments right now of that not being true. That's what I would say. So, all righty. Mastermind says, I pray I'm wrong. Me too. Yes, absolutely. Me too. So, all righty. Let's see if I can go here. Let's see. Michael's on your side. He goes, I agree, Mastermind. Trump is failing. Increased deficit. No Fort Knox audit. More war with Ukraine. Russia legal unconstitutional strike on sovereign nation. Big beautiful deficit. Increase EpiPen cup. Yeah. Look, I still have hope. Yeah. Superweapon says, what documentary are we referring to? Well, I am glad you asked that question. We are talking about one that's on CiVL. Of course we are. So good, Superweapons. You opened up a good time to talk about CiVL. So I'm going to. Bingo. Tons of documentaries on there. Feature films. Shorts. I like the shorts piece too. If you're saying, I don't want to spend forever. This one's 11 minutes long. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. But yeah, 11 minutes long. Right? These are cool little things that you can enjoy that talk about people getting together, ideas about how you can be a better person. They have little shorts like this too, which I love those. But of course, those documentaries. And more importantly, they have my show, which is the most important show, right, of all the shows. Come on. But this one also. This is a documentary about a woman who I adore. I've met her more than once. It's Lynn Albrecht. It's Ross Ulbricht's mom, and how she fought for like 11 years to get her son out of prison. And she used the Libertarian Party as one of her tools, and it worked.
Welcome to Kibbe on Liberty. I'm live at PorkFest. There's wind. There's club parties going on near us. We have a live audience, and we're talking to my dear friend, Lynn Albrecht. Her son, Ross, is free, and we're going to celebrate.
And this is literally 3 days ago. New content coming up on CiVL all the time. New stuff all the time. Kibbe's great, by the way. Kibbe's great. He interviewed me when I ran for governor. He's great also. So, and PorkFest is insane. I don't go, but maybe you should. I don't go. But yes, anyway, this is Kibbe. This is on CiVL too. These are what we're talking about. Places like this. I talk a lot about CiVL, I know, because I'm very proud to be part of this. I'm very happy to be part of this. I was thinking about when you guys were bugging me about getting a sponsor, like, Larry, get a sponsor. I was like, I could. And then what am I going to do? Hawk gold? I mean, I could. Hawk some cryptocurrency? I mean, I could. They all offered it, right? I could do it. But I thought, why would I want to hawk gold or hawk cryptocurrency when I can instead do something that I actually care about and I can be part of? So I picked these two, CiVL and the Advocates. That's why I picked these two. I'm proud of them. I'm happy. I'm a member. I'm on them. I've done it before. I use the stuff. So, you know, I can hawk anything in theory, but I wanted to hawk something that I actually believed in and I thought was important. That's why I'm doing it. And that's why CiVL matters so much. CiVL understands that we don't just want the left-right paradigm fighting each other, that we actually want to have conversations about what you believe is right. And even hear parts that we may not agree with. That's the most important piece. So yes, we're referring to CiVL Superweapons. Thank you for that. Guys, go on CiVL if you can. CiVL.com. That's where it is. Click on that. Sign up. When you put your name in, upper right-hand corner is a little green thing shaded. Click that. Put in the code Larry, Larry. That gives you 50% off for the first year, $25 for a year. Come on. Steal. You're robbing them. You are robbed. You should go to jail after you do that. You should go to jail after that because you just robbed them. That's what low price that is. Do that. And also, of course, you can watch the Wednesday show, which Wednesday at 7 p.m. is a civil only show. That's you can watch our Wednesday show. And next Wednesday, we have the one and the only Spike Cohen. Spike Cohen and I will be together on the civil show next Wednesday. You want to see that? Got to join civil. I'm just saying, you got to join civil. That's how that works. So thank you for allowing me to do my pitch. Appreciate it. So yes. All righty. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. Daniel, thank you for $10, my friend. Happy birthday, Mr. Sharpe. Yesterday's show was so much fun. I agree. I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate that, guys. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being part of it. And also thank you, by the way, Daniel often shows up to my events in upstate New York, often helps people together. He is a true hardcore believer. Thank you, Daniel, for that. All the work that you do. You are insane in what you do, and I appreciate it tremendously. And if I do this run coming up here, I'll be asking for help again. I will be. Just saying. So, yes, thanks. Thank you for the $10, my friend. Johnson, 5 Sharpe memberships. Guys, grab memberships if you can. Please grab them if you can. I appreciate it. Every membership counts. Please go ahead and do that. Remember our rule. If you made $20 million last year, you may not take the membership, right? If you made less than $20 million, you may. Larry, I made 19.8 million. Fine, take it. Larry, I made 20.1. Pay the 49, cheapskate. What's wrong with you? You made $20 million last year. Do it. You make 20 million. Take the freebie. Totally fine. No worries at all. Appreciate it. Thank you, Johnson, for this. I appreciate the help. We need to keep this going. Absolutely. So, yes. Dan says, Kintsugi, have you joined the LP yet? Just saying. Leo says the Advocates link is on YouTube. It is. If you go into YouTube description, you'll see a link there. It says link to Advocates. What it says. It's also on Facebook and it's also on Rumble. It says link to Advocates right there. Click that link specifically if you would. It does matter. Missy shows it right here. Why? Because that link lets them know it came from here, and they like that. Now, the reality is, whenever I start talking about the Advocates, they get a bunch more people. I know, but the more that happens there, the happier they are. See, and it's free. So that's how I get credit, and it's free. You don't have to pay anything. You guys don't pay nothing. That's awesome, right? And I get a sponsor. We get to spread things around, and you don't pay any money. Not too shabby. Now, if you guys want to pay money, please do so. Give me a birthday gift. Give me a super chat. Love to if you want to, but not required. You can just head over to the Advocates, do that. Leela says, repeat CiVL's address. It is CiVL.com. CiVL.com. That's it. Go over there and join up there. Again, credit for it too. All good. Whatever works best for you is awesome. So Shelly says, my dad called this, don't throw a punch unless you can take a punch. Yes. True. Yes. Agreed. There we go. All right. Let me see if I can grab some of these more. Okay. Yeah. Drain the swamp. That will be nice. That's hard. That's hard. Right? That's, I agree with you. But wow, it's hard. It's very challenging. So we should try to. All right. And grab some more. Kim has a story. She says, when I was a kid, my dad taught us about swamp bears because mom was against teaching us about the boogeyman. I think your dad knew. Yeah. Yeah, he knew. Yeah. There we go. Dave said the county prosecutor ran unopposed. Is that true? I don't remember that. I believe you. But we won. I don't care if they're unopposed. Good. And he was libertarian. So good. I'm happy. I'm happy either way. Oh, good. Dave says, happy birthday, Larry. Thank you. I appreciate that. Shelly says, I'm currently in an area where no one but Democrats gets elected. I know the feeling, Shelly. Even to the library board. But the Dems run against each other through the Working Families Party. That sometimes happens. Yeah, but I get it completely. Yes. It's where I am. Same thing. I think I told you already. The Republicans don't even bother running any candidates anymore. They don't. Missy says, about high-functioning depression. There we go. Yes. High-functioning depression is tough. It is tough because you don't know you're depressed. You can easily fool yourself into thinking. And I'm functioning. I've been depressed when I've done the show. And some people close to me have noticed. But if you're not close to me, you didn't notice because I'm high functioning. But I'm still depressed and struggling in other ways. I fail in other ways. But when I have to show up for my job, I can do my job. When I have to coach people, I can coach people. When I want to be in front of a classroom, I'm in front of a classroom. I do a good job. And then when I stop, I'm a goddamn mess. So yeah, it's a problem. But then I can fool myself. Oh no, I'm fine. I was just in front of the class. They love the class. I'm a showman. It's great, right? I'm doing my show. It's wonderful. I'm coaching people, helping them. I'm great. I'm not depressed. How can I be depressed? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Kim says, I'm seeking peace. Yes, disrespected. True. Yes. Ingrid says, no pun intended, but you have one of the sharpest minds I've had the pleasure to witness. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes. So, Lila says, your non-mainstreamness is why we like you, Mr. Sharpe. I hope so. I hope so. I really want that to be the case. Yes. Dan the Rocco says, no soundbites allowed. Elise Stefanik saying she's running for governor soon. Maybe. She hasn't decided yet, but maybe. Possible. She can't win right now. Things that change a lot for her. But maybe. Shelley says, I can be very articulate when I'm angry, but I'm not making an argument for the positive. Ooh, good point. Good point. Yes. Good point. Let's see if I can grab here if I can. All righty. So many, I guess back and forth. I love that. Okay. Let me walk down a couple of these. Masterman Hour says Cleopatra, Marilyn Monroe, and Bill Cosby. I would have picked none of them. But okay. There we go. There we go. Yeah. All right. K. John says AMA is Larry's brain gymnastics. True. That is. But that's why I do them. One of the reasons why I do these, okay, John, and I do them all live, there's a bunch of reasons. But one of them is the more I do this, surely the better I get at it, right? Just more practice, right? The better I get at it. But secondly, I do want you guys to see me think through things. Because if I am able to make any impact politically, everyone's going to lie about me. That's how it works. When I had any attempt to do anything in 2018, people started lying about me. And the only way you guys won't believe it is if you already feel like you know me. Otherwise, you'll believe it, of course. Why wouldn't you? Right? Of course. So I want you to be able to go, no, that's not Larry. I've watched him go through things. I've watched how he talks. I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, no, he wouldn't do that. I have to get you to believe me. Trust me. And the more I share with myself, the more you'll believe me and trust me. But it's the second piece. I was teasing Daniel, right? Saying, hey, if I run, I'm gonna need your help to go and do things for me. And it's true. Look, if I run again for something, particularly if I run in state New York, I'm gonna ask people for stuff. I'm gonna ask you to tell your friends. I'm gonna ask you to give me money for the campaign. I'm gonna ask you to share stuff on YouTube and share stuff on Facebook. I'm gonna ask a lot of you. Well, why the hell should you trust me, Case John? Why should you? I'm some guy saying, hey, do stuff for me. Why should you trust me? Well, if I want you to trust me, I have to share myself. I have to keep myself open. I talk about transparency all the time, right? All the time I talk about it. If I want you to trust me, if I want us to trust government again, right? That's going to be a lot. But is it possible for us to trust government again? Yes, it's possible. How? Government would have to be insanely open and so radical transparency for years, showing us the good and the bad for years. Doing it for years, some people go, okay, you know what? I can trust you guys again. Well, I'm trying to be radically transparent so that you can see me and know who I am, because I'm going to ask you to trust me. I'm going to say, hey, Kate, John, trust me. I need you to go do these things. Tell your friends, do this, share that. Call this guy up, email people so I can be on their podcast. Call this, station so you can get me, I can interview. I'm going to ask you for all these types of things. Of course I am. Well, why would you do it? Because I'm some dude? I mean, I am good looking, but I'm not that good looking. Maybe I am, but no, I'm not. So you got to trust me. I have to be transparent so you'll trust me and go, okay, I believe this guy. All right. Because here's the thing. I do it so much. If I was actually able to create a facade for this long, this is my 663rd show, not including the over 250 I've done on radio, plus the other hundreds I've done other ways. So I'm about 1,000 shows or so. If I've been able to do 1,000 shows over the past, 8 years it's been, 9 years, whatever it's been, and maintain this facade, I'm that good of an actor. I deserve it. I deserve an Oscar and the presidency and the galactic dictatorship. I deserve it all if I could actually pull that off. I hope I'm that good. I don't think I am. So, yes, that's one reason why I do this. So, Mike says, by the way, at Larry, casinos in New York City are coming. I say this will fail epically. Didn't work upstate, won't work here. Crime and poverty will go up. What do you think? The reason why that may work is because New York City is becoming a playground for the wealthy. New York City is becoming Vegas. A more cultured Vegas, maybe? New York City is becoming that. If New York City becomes this playground, there are people who want to turn New York into Dubai. If that happens, there may be some poverty, but it'll be swept away in the areas so the rich people can't see it, right? There'll be like maybe they're pushing to the Bronx or something, right? To do that. So maybe, but I could see Manhattan becoming an actual playground and not looking that way at all. I could see that happening. Depends how to do it. People are trying to make this happen. I don't know if it's going to work. That's the issue. I don't know if it's going to work. But I think that's what they're trying to do. I think it can work. It can work because they're going to look to places like Dubai as their example. And Dubai has crime and poverty too. But again, it's over there. The wealthy don't see it. I can see that happening. I don't think that it will turn like New York City into Manhattan. Let me be very clear. I don't see it turning Manhattan into a slum. No, I don't see that at all. If there is an increase in crime and poverty, it'll be in the outer boroughs, and Manhattan will be a playground for the wealthy. And that will take years. I mean, that'll probably take 10, 15, 20 years. But yeah, I can see it. That's how I see it happening. That's what I see. I can see it. So yes. All righty. IC says, Larry, what are your thoughts on public services being unionized? The problem with public unions is they negotiate with the wrong people. What I mean by that? Public unions negotiate with the governor. That's dumb. It's not the governor's money. Literally, that gives incentives for unions to give money to politicians, to give money to the governor, to give money and be involved in politics. Of course, because they decide how much money they get. That's dumb. Not their money. The governor's job is to just give you more money, so you'll give me more votes. You're not really negotiating. Unions should be negotiated with the public. All union contracts should be ratified through ballot initiative. We, the voters, decide. Now you might go, well, then the voters might screw the unions over. Well, first off, in a place like New York, I don't know how. There's so many union workers. I mean, except for Hawaii, New York is the most unionized state in the union. So everyone knows a union worker. So I don't know why you screw them over. But let's say we would. That means we're unhappy with the service, aren't we? Well, then change, right? Right now, you have situations where teachers who are terrible can't get fired. Why? Because the government just signs it off. Imagine if that was to us, me and you. We're like, no, that comes out. What do you mean? That comes out of your contract. Crappy teachers are getting fired, or we're not voting on a raise. People would do that. We'd be able to control the unions. Now, would unions get raises? Of course they would. Union people vote too. They have families and friends. And the unions would spend their money not on bribing politicians. They would spend their money instead on marketing campaigns to the people. Change everything. Unions don't have power anymore for the government because it doesn't matter anymore. Unions instead now would have to market to the people and say, we're doing a good job, so give us a raise. We're doing a good job, so give us more money. We're doing a good job, so give us more benefits. And then people go, you are doing a good job. I'm happy how you're policing us, or I'm happy how you're taking care of the trash, or I'm happy how you're teaching my kids. Yeah, get a raise. Or no, you guys suck. I'm not giving you anything. Get better. I'm not giving you a raise. No, then quit and go on strike. If you're striking, you're not striking against the government, you're against the people. Way better. So I don't mind them being unionized. Again, I go back to the First Amendment. You should be able to unionize. Of course you should. The problem is you're not negotiating with the people whose money it is. Right? That's the issue. So I hope that's clear. My lady says, is it true that you want to have a 1 p.m. Sharpe radio show on Monday? That is a good question. And the answer is no radio show on Monday. There will not be one on this Monday. I'll be busy doing something else. I'll be out and about running around. There'll be no radio show this Monday. Next Monday, yes. This Monday, no. I know some of you like to be able to call in and say stuff, but not this time. Not this Monday. Next Monday, we'll be back on. Remember, the show does go back to Monday, so we're ready to do that. So no radio show this Monday. Next Monday, we will have a radio show. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. Evelyn says 2 currently types of Germans. Are there? I don't know. Lila says Germans and Russians, lots of aggression between the 2 groups. Have been for years. Yes. Oh, because conservative. Got it. Okay, that's what you mean. Thank you. Got it. Okay, that's what you meant. Yep. That's true. Yes. Absolutely true. 100%. Well, the German World War II, World War I and World War II were actually one war. It was the war for German supremacy. It's really what it was in Europe. Would there be German hegemony in Europe or not? Right. It was England's last attempt to stop the Germans from creating their own empire, and it worked. And the British fell for it, though. The British stopped the Germans at their own peril, and then gave the empire over to the Americans, which is their son. And I think the first time I can think of in history where an empire had a son and then passed it over to them. So yeah, but the Germans aren't who and what they were in the past. They weren't. They have been destroyed by war, destroyed by lines. Prussia was the largest chunk of what Germany was. It was the biggest cultural impact in Germany. And what was Prussia is now in Poland. So if any of their Prussians is there in Poland. And most of the Germans were pushed out by the Russians. And the Russians did massive. I mean, most people don't even talk about this. The Russians were terrible when they came into Germany. Just as the Germans were terrible. Germans were terrible when they went from Russia too. I'm not saying this is like one-sided. But the Russians were terrible when they came into Germany, Eastern Germany. There were at least 2 million RAPESs. At least that number of German women were done that. So they've been devastated. The Germans of today they're not the same Germans they were in the past. They simply aren't. By geography, by ethnic group, by culture, genetics, they're not the same. Yeah, that's the same. So yes. Anyway, Lila says, they say Latin actually sounded more like German than Latin sounding similar to Latin. Oh, they say Latin actually sounded more like German than Latin sounding similar to Italian. I don't think that's true. They're separate. They are separate languages, groups. I don't think that's true. English is basically lazy German. It's basically it's lazy German is what it basically is. So yeah, I don't think so, but maybe. All right. Evelyn says, happy birthday. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Let's see. Lila says, libertarians are naturally non-susceptible to bribing. I'm not sure that's true. I think we're more resilient. I would say that, but I think everyone can be bribed. But I think we're more resilient because we're very worried about virtue signaling. Yes, we are very much worried about virtue signaling. That's true. That's one of the most important things we have. We have to virtue signal like there's no tomorrow. So yes. All righty. Let me grab some more of these. So many of these. I appreciate all the pieces here. All right. Let's see. Lila's talking a lot about this. All right. That little lady says, Spike Cohen does more of his organization. You are the power. That's YATP, to keep government accountable on a local level. We need a YATP headquarters in every state. True. Hardlands Media says, happy birthday, Marine. Gators for life. Chicago Deep Pizza for life. You had to put the pizza thing in it, didn't you? New York pizza is the best. I love you, brother. Kit, you're the best. You're the best. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. All right. All righty. Nate says, happy birthday, Larry Sharpe. I'm taking the human respect test right now. Thank you, Nate. Take that human respect test. As I asked you guys, look, if you head over to theadvocates.org or click the link that's right now in the description on Facebook, in the description on Rumble, in the description on YouTube, click that link. Take any of those tests. There's so many of them. They're interesting. They make you think. Share them. The goal is, you know what the goal is? The goal is get more people to come to these 2 spots I keep talking about, right? I want you all to come to my show and listen to me. That'd be amazing. But if you can't, other people won't. Have them go to CiVL, have them go to the advocates, and you get a similar concept, an idea of having conversations that isn't just left-right paradigm, right? It isn't just the conflict machine. It's something bigger and better than that, right? It's something bigger and better than that we can actually talk back and forth, seeing people who you wouldn't have heard before or get. It does matter, right? I know I bug you about it, but I care. I care. I do. I give a damn. I do. I'm not hawking gold. Not against people hawking gold. You want to hawk gold? Hawk gold. I'm not mad at you if you believe in gold or hawking cryptocurrency. Please hawk all the currencies you want. I'm not mad at you for that. All I'm saying is, a lot of you guys asked me to go for a sponsor, and I found those that I actually believe in and trust. That's why I can talk about them. If you notice, I don't have a script. If you see people do the thing, they go, today I want to talk about blah, 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 and let me do the script. They are a this and they are a that, and they're a membership. Blah, blah. They do that stuff, right? I'll do that. You don't see me. I don't have a script. I'm not doing stuff. I'm telling you how I honestly feel. I'm telling you stuff I actually use. I'm telling you stuff I care about. That's why I bug you about it. I try to pick something real. This goes back to my earlier point you were asking about, why to do this live. You have to trust me. I got to give you transparency. I'm not going to hawk gold unless I'm buying that gold. If I'm buying the gold, I will hawk the gold. If I'm buying that cryptocurrency, I'll hawk that cryptocurrency. I'm not buying that though. I am on CiVL, and I do use the advocates test all the time. So yeah. And I can feel comfortable shoving you over there. I feel comfortable. I bring up this one piece, and Nate might know the story. When I first started my campaign in 2017, people were like, Larry, you're going to have to ask for a lot of money. I'm like, I know. I raised $500,000 that year. I'm like, yeah, of course. The first thing I did, true story, and you can check it. Like this, there's documentation. You can check this. The first thing I did is I wrote myself a check for $10,000. True story. I put 10 grand into my own account. Said to myself, how in the world am I going to go say, hey, Kim, give me money. Hey, Mike, give me money. Hey, Nate, give me money. Hey, John, give me money. If I can't put my own money into this. I couldn't do it. So I said, if I'm going to go in and bug you for money, I'm going to put my own money in. So I put 10 grand of my own cash into my own account. And then I said, okay, I'm asking for money. Now I'm not worried about asking for money now. Every time I run, I put my own money in. And when I run, I don't work. When I was done in 2018, remember I told you about people bribing me to pay my debts? I wasn't kidding. When I was done in 2018, I was 6 figures in debt. I didn't work for a year and a half. I just campaigned. That's all I did. I was sometimes gone for 9 days in a row campaigning. Nate remembers. Nate was making signs. Nate was in his house making signs to put outside. True story. Nate was the sign guy. He was making signs. And I said, if I'm gonna ask Nate to make signs and do stuff outside of work, well, then I gotta do stuff outside of work. I can't bug you to do stuff if I won't do it. This is the Marine in me, right? Mike knows this. Nate's a sailor. He knows. He knows it too. You can be a leader. I can't order you to do something that I wouldn't do myself. Right? If I can't order you to charge the machine gun if I wouldn't do it myself. I can't say, guys, give me this, give me that if I won't do it myself. I can't. So anyway, I've yapped away. Let me keep going here. All right. Let's see here. Kim says, another movie I really like, Once Upon a Time in America. Yes, that was a good one. I agree. That was good too. I did enjoy that one. 100%. All right. All righty. See, Shelly says, I understand German. Can't speak a word of it. Same with Yiddish. I understand a lot more German than I can speak too. I'm with you. I speak a little bit here or there. Yes, a little bit here or there. So, all right, the poll's closing soon, guys. Or maybe already closed. We're on our way to closing it. So, yes. Please go down. Please check out the poll. If you have not, please check it. So, all righty. Dan says, is Voss Spanish? Oh, okay. There we go. He's asking if you're Spanish. There we go. Literally says, Larry doesn't script anything. He got on a plane and came down to Florida to talk about 3 libertarians he didn't even know. He told me he knew them for years. She's not wrong. I tend to not script things. That's true. I tend not to. I will sometimes give myself notes for like when I'm emceeing something. I'll MC events. I'll do that sometimes. But yeah, I try to do things from the heart to the best of my ability. That's what I try. I really do. So yeah. Straight and over on Rumble, $5. Happy birthday. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys for all of you who gave me a little cash today. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. For all of you who, have been supporting me throughout the show, I appreciate it tremendously. I hope you know that. And I do this. I work during the day still, but I try to put this show out as much as I possibly can because I know it matters. I know we've built out a group of people, a chat, a community where we know each other, we chat with each other, and sometimes the chat goes longer than I go, which is great. I love that. And I hope we're open. And I'd like you, here's my birthday request. I have birthday wishes, my birthday request for you guys. Here's my request. If you can, please invite other people to watch one of the shows. Either a live one if you want to, or one that you enjoyed personally that you thought, they should watch. Invite it. Look through the shows that you enjoyed, that you thought was good. Take the URL and send it to one of your friends. Send it to your friend via text, send it to your friend via Facebook Messenger, Instagram, slide in the DMs. You know what I'm saying? Do that if you want to. All I'm saying is, if you can do that to help to share this out so that more people can see it. The thing that matters tremendously is if people see it and they like it. I think we can grow this and not just grow it to where it's a flash in the pan, but to where people actually want to be part of it and join the community. That piece is important to me. I hope we can do that. In the long run, there aren't that many of these. Most of these shows, if they're live, it's blood sport. It's here's why the Dems are evil. Here's why the Republicans are evil. It's that. Or it's recorded and it's just some kind of parasocial relationship where some guy is talking and you think he cares about you, but he doesn't even know who you are. So I think it's more important to do this. And I will be traveling. By the way, in the coming months, I will be setting up a nationwide tour. I will be going out the States. I will be doing that in the future. I'm not sure exactly where yet, but I will be doing it. It will happen. So hopefully if you're not in New York, hopefully I can see you either way, even if I'm not in New York. I would hope so. I would ask you always, if you can, click that button known as like. If you haven't shared it, please share this. As I say all the time, it does matter. What I'm going to ask you now, of course, is the last thing I always ask you. Remember, the algorithm does love if you comment after the live. So when you're done, if you would, please comment. And if you would comment, what is your birthday wish? Simple. Comment, what is your birthday wish? Please put that in the comments after this is over. This way, Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore, Rhythm, loves it. Please do that. And if this is not live and you're watching it later on, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whenever you're watching it, in the future, you'll see 2 videos pop up. Please click on one of those videos, either one of them, whichever one you want, click on one of those. And because the algorithm loves that, watch for at least 8 minutes because it goes, oh, you like to keep watching your stuff. Algorithm loves that tremendously. I will see you all very soon.